Okay, as we have seen how to establish a connection between the Java program and MySQL theoretically, now we'll see how to implement it practically. First, we need to have a database before doing anything. So to create a database, you can use MySQL Workbench. I already have a database which is present in MySQL Workbench. I have a database called as Fortune Cloud, and I'm using a table called as Employee D. And it has got 4 columns: ID, name, hourly pay, and salary. This is the database which is already created. To know how to create a database and to create a table, you have to watch MySQL videos, so you'll understand them. Now, and after creating a database, now first thing is to implement JDBC, we need to have Java program. So where do we usually write Java program? We have many IDEs to create a Java program like NetBeans, IntelliJ, Eclipse. So I'm using Eclipse here. So this is the Eclipse window. And here I'm going to create a new project, new, new, Java project. Let me give the name as new JDBC. You can give any name, but it would be better if you give it as JDBC so that you will understand. Let me finish creating the project. I have my project here, and to establish the connection again, we need to have something called as MySQL connector jar files. So where the code is already written and kept, and it is already compiled, and it is in a bytecode form. So we need not to worry much about writing a code to establish, like writing a big code to establish a connection. Everything is already there. We can use it whenever, wherever it required. So how to download MySQL connector jar files? I will open Google Chrome. So you can search it like, for example, you can search it as download MySQL connector jar file. Now, if you see, if you open first link itself, it will show like this. So you have to select the operating system. So if it is platform independent, you want it to be platform independent, you can go with platform independent. I'm selecting platform independent here. Here you can download it. You can go with zip archive. You can click on download. I already have this downloaded, so I will show it to you here. So I already have downloaded and kept it ready. So, and I've also extracted it. I have downloaded it many times. So this is how after downloading you can see the jar file in your computer. Now after downloading, what we need to do is, let me go back to the project, Java project again. And here you need to add those jar files. How to add these jar files? Right click on your project, go down, go to last option, that is properties, and you can click on Java build path. On Java build path, there is a third tab saying libraries. Here you need to add your jar files to the class path. So click on class path. These things, I mean the options just on your right side will be enabled. You have to add external jar file. So click on external jars. Now I can just go to downloads. I can select the file which I want to connect. So I am going to connect my SQL connector jar files. I have selected that and it has got added. If I click on apply and close, it will be applied. Now if you see, there is one more folder created now, reference library, in which I have my jar files. Next thing is, let me create a class, Java class. So right click on your project. You can directly have a class, or else you can put it in package also. It's not a problem. As of now, I am showing with you with directly creating with the class. Name of the class, let me give it as JDBC connection. JDBC connection. and I want main method here. So I will click on that. Let me finish it. So I've got my class. Now, as I've explained, what is the first thing that I need to get here is for name. So the which is present in a class called as class. So I can get it here, for name. And here I need to give the class which is used to be loaded here, that is the driver class. So where is this driver class present, in which package? I can show it to you. Let me show it to you here. If I click on this MySQL connector, I can get the details of all the packages that is present in this jar file. So we have something called as com.mysql.cj.jdbc. This is related to JDBC. If I click here, and you can see a class called as driver class. This is the class that I want to use it here. I want to register here. So to register that class, I have to give the package name properly. So I'm giving it in double quotes, com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc. I'll close the quotes and I'm closing the statement. Now here if you see, I have an exception. So if you know what is exception handling and all, you know, like you can handle this exception. As of now, there is a checked exception available here. You can either handle this exception by using throws or by try catch. So the exception, unhandled exception is of type class not found. So it is warning compiler, itself it is warning that there may be exception, say like there may be occurrence of exception, that is class not found exception, if your jar files is not inserted properly or not. So to handle that, as I told, you can either use throws or you can use try catch. So as of now, let me say I will surround it with try catch. I have used try catch. So if the connection is fine, if I have loaded the driver successfully, I want to have a statement saying that driver loaded successfully. Give anything. It's not mandatory that you should give the same thing. Suppose if there is an exception and you have not found the driver class properly. See, if you see here, I have only given com.mysql.cd.jdbc. I am not given the class name. What is our class name? That is driver class. So if I have not put it properly, obviously I would have got exception, but now I have cleared it. So if there is an exception at that particular line, I want something as output. For that, I am saying driver not loaded. Driver not loaded. Yes. So this is what I am going to give here for catch, corresponding catch block. Now, next thing is what I told us to get the connection. For that, I need to use something called as driver manager. So what is this driver manager? We have discussed in the previous video, and the method here is get connection, and here I'm going to pass three parameters. One is your URL of the database, address of the database, that, and next thing is username, and the next thing is password. So let me fill the details here. URL, URL, and I have not declared it yet, but even though I'm just using those variables here, URL, username, and password in short. So let me declare those variables also here. I can declare it out of try string URL is equals to, what is the address of our database? First thing is you need to give the APE. The APE which we are using or working on with is JDBC : and the vendor MySQL :/, and you have to give the IP address of that particular uh, computer or a server where actually the database is situated. As of now, I have my database inside my laptop itself, so I'm giving it as local host : and I have to give this thing port ID, that is 3306. The port ID of my SQL software is 3306, and I have to give this database name. Database name was Fortune Cloud. So these are the things that you need to mention it here. So I have given the URL, and then I have to give user name is equals to, as I've told, my username is root as of now. So I'll give the same thing. Then string password. I have given the password as root. So it will be easy for me to remember. So this is the thing. Let me close this. Again, now if I close this, I'm getting a exception, that is checked exception, saying there may be a chance of SQL exception if the connection is not established properly. Say if my URL is wrong, or my username is wrong, or the password is wrong. Okay, so that may be the exception. To handle that exception, again it is asking to enclose it with try catch block. I already given it under try block, but I have to give a corresponding catch block. So how to give that corresponding catch block? I can give it here. Catch, which is the exception that I'm going to handle it here. It is SQL exception. So you need to import this, as it is not present in our package. You need to import this exception from java.sql package. I will import it. I have imported that. Now I need to say something if there is an exception, that is connection not established. Obviously. So if there is an exception, obviously we cannot establish the connection, but when we successfully establish the connection, we need some good news, good output saying that connection established. So hope everything we have given it properly. And let me save my program. Yes. Now, if I run this code, it should work properly. Let me see if I have no issues. Driver loaded successfully, connection established successfully, which means I have connected my Java program with the database. So this is the program to connect our Java program with our database. It's very simple. You need to remember two things. One is for name and the other thing is get connection. Okay. So let me store this connection in a variable called as con. And this variable should be of type connection. This connection is an interface where we usually store the connection. So I have to import that connection interface, which is present in java.sql package. So I have imported all the required packages and I have given the required information to establish a connection. This is all about connecting our Java program with the database. We have completed a part of JDBC now. So in the next video, we are going to see how do we fetch the data from the database. Okay, so stay tuned for next video and follow Fortune Cloud Technologies. Thank you so much.